What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to a brand new episode on my channel. As always, I'm Jay, and guys, I hope you had a great 4th of July. I know I did. I spent it at a cookout, like usual, with family, friends, and fireworks, and it was a great day to celebrate our independence, as per usual. But anyway, guys, back to the topic of this video. Yes, you read right. It has been greenlit by Legendary Pictures that they will be producing an official Hollywoodization version of Mobile Suit Gundam. And of course, it is off of comic book resources, so take that with a grain of salt, if you will. But overall, guys, yeah, the people behind Legendary Pictures, the monster movies, Godzilla, Kong Skull Island, both Pacific Rim films, they are greenlit and ready to go on adapting Mobile Suit Gundam for the American audiences. And here's a little tidbit, of course. The thing with Gundam, this one anyway, is it's going to be the Universal Century, I believe, continuity, which basically that means the ones that I've never seen before. So growing up, my only experience with Gundam Wing was really Mobile Suit Gundam Wing, which premiered on anime shows such as Toonami, and like many popular Japanese shows, it was part of a long line of other series. And this one is actually in an alternate timeline from what I heard. This one's centered on a band of rebel fighters fighting against the United Federation of Planets and the oppressive forces of Trace Kushwanada and his General Zex Marquis. Basically, the series included both a regular series run and an OVA film entitled The Endless Waltz, which was a sequel series. Mobile Suit Gundam Wing was always one of those shows that I kind of intermittently watched. I didn't get to watch consistently, but I really know that I enjoyed what was going on in there. So right now I'm actually working my way through the box set, and it's pretty awesome. I mean, for the first time in over a decade, recently it got re-released because when it was first out on DVD, Bandai Entertainment actually went out of business, and for the longest time, Gundam Wing, Mobile Suit Gundam Wing, along with other different series, were actually out of print because Bandai was the source. And now recently, Sunrise, along with different companies, including Right Stuff, actually were able to obtain the rights. And then on top of it, they were able to restore and get these out in Blu-ray collector's sets. And as soon as I found that out, I had to just jump on it, and I'm so glad that I did. Because actually, I got the Ultra Collector's box set, and it has a beautiful big box which contains 4 Blu-ray discs along with different lithograph posters and whatnot, and other swag including pins and everything. But as you can see, the box art is beautiful. It's a glossy box, which is nice and amazing. So like I said, we have some little posters here and whatnot of Relina. We have Hero and Relina, and we have Hero, and then we have the other ones whose names I can't really remember. I'm terrible. I need to do some studying. And then we have the lithographs here, and then an awesome collector's book which has the background and the art for the series, which I thought was fantastic. And as soon as I found that out, I knew I just had to get the series. Aside from that, like I said, the collector's set actually comes with several Blu-rays. Collections 1 and 2 contain the actual entire show. Then the Endless Waltz Blu-ray is included, as well as a bonus features Ultra Edition Extras disc. And like I said, you can get this on Right Stuff. I forget how much it was, but it's definitely a steal, especially with how much you get in this box. And if you guys are avid anime fans, or even just fans of Mobile Suit Gundam Wing, you gotta get it. That's all I can say as far as that goes. You gotta get this. And yeah, I don't know if it's just me, but every time I get a box set, even if it's a small one or one like this, I feel like there's a certain weird aroma. But that could just be me. But anyway, guys, back to the point at hand here. So with this series here, as I may have mentioned before, this continuity isn't Mobile Suit Gundam Wing. It's actually the Universal Century timeline, which is actually more along the lines of Mobile Suit Gundam and the other series before and kind of leading after that. So it doesn't really tie into the whole Hero Yui or, you know, Endless Waltz timeline or any of those events, because that was an alternate thing in and of itself. So that's what they're actually going to be adapting for this film, from what I heard. So it's going to be kind of a new, fresh thing for me, and you know, I am definitely interested. I'm on board, but I can already hear the fanboys and the people who are anime and manga fans bitching about it. I can just hear them. Oh, diversity! Oh, whitewashing! Oh, this is going to ruin my childhood. Why are you raping my favorite childhood shows? Please stop. Just stop right there. Being a fan of something like this, or a video game, or whatever that's getting adapted, but also being a fan of the Hollywood filmmaking process and actually bringing things to life on the silver screen, you have to realize something. Whenever you're getting a film, if it's adapting something, especially a long-running show, they're doing the Cliff Notes version of it. I mean, look at the Marvel Cinematic Universe. How the hell would you be able to pack every single small, minute detail of every single issue of anything into these films? You wouldn't. So you're going to pick and choose, and you're going to allude to certain things, but then you're going to adapt it for it to make sense. Case in point, why the hell does Tony Stark have to have his hand on every bit of tech that's inside of the Marvel Universe? Because it makes sense. I didn't particularly agree with the fact that they had Ultron be created by him and Banner. I mean, they could have at least said that it was some type of technology made by Hank Pym, because Pym was actually the original person who actually made Ultron and whatnot. But it makes sense for the story, and even further so, he created Vision with Tony, him and Banner. And then on top of that, Tony created the prototype suit and spandex of Spider-Man. So, it makes sense in its own continuity and everything. So that's the first thing. If they have to take some liberties with certain things, as long as it doesn't disrupt the whole narrative overall, that's perfectly fine. But then to the point of the whole conflicting argument of racism and yet diversity, guys, we're adapting a show that is solely Japanese, meaning every person in there is Japanese. But I gotta tell you, growing up and watching anime and whatnot, I never looked at them as being Japanese. I identified with certain characters, and you know what? Yes, you're right. Some characters do look exotic, or they do look foreign, but some of them, you're not gonna tell me some of them don't look Caucasian. I mean, come on. Some of these characters that you're going to see in some of these shows look white. They have blonde hair, they have blue eyes, they have pale skin. And then even some of them, there's some leeway. But on top of that, the way Hollywood is nowadays, which I'm not saying I agree with or disagree with to a certain extent, I can see both sides, they diversify the shit out of anything they get. It doesn't matter if when it was made, it was an all white or all male thing. They are going to change sexes, change orientations. They're going to make, mix up the races and diversify the shit out of anything, especially nowadays in the politically correct, social justice warrior atmosphere. And again, I'm not here to get into political arguments, and I'm not trying to stir the pot up or anything like that, but Hollywood is going to do that. They're going to take this, they're going to put a spin on it, shorten it, condense it, and then they're going to throw all these things in there, because that's what Hollywood does. And honestly, whenever you're doing something like this, I don't look at it as a negative every time. I know a lot of people hate when they do this, and actually the most recent case of this was the backlash of the whitewashing of Ghost in the Shell, which I talked a little bit about in my review. Is it terrible that they cast Scarlett Johansson as the Major? I don't think so, because again, she is a shell that the actual consciousness of, the original girl who was Asian, Chinese or Japanese, I forget which one, but because she died, they took her consciousness, kind of erased her memory a little bit, and put her into a shell, a doll, a vessel, if you will, that was not like her own body, that was totally cybernetic and everything. So I can roll with that. I don't think that was any bit being racist or anything like that. And honestly, they actually did pretty well at diversifying and being somewhat faithful to the story of the original animated film. And I actually enjoyed it. I would say that is arguably the best adaptation of an anime film done by Hollywood. Now, if you don't agree with me, that's fine. You have your beliefs, I've got mine. But overall, I feel like that's the direction we want to head into, especially when we're dealing with stuff that's a more mature subject matter like Mobile Suit Gundam or any of the other things. I mean, as long as we're not going into Dragon Ball Evolution levels of bad, I'd say we're doing pretty good, guys. I'd say we're doing very, very well. And I know what you guys are thinking. This guy's talking out of his ass. He has no idea what he's thinking right now, because he clearly doesn't understand the concept of bringing something to the big screen and adapting it properly. Yeah, as I sit here in my Power Rangers Godzilla mashup shirt, are you kidding me? Did you see the Power Rangers movie? Okay, I wanted to pay money to go and see giant robots and shit happening. I didn't pay money for a teen dramedy that would have been on CW or whatever. Just throwing it out there. And plus, again, coming into play, Hollywood had to pander, and they the cast or made it more diverse or whatever you want to say. And I feel like this is one of those instances where it didn't work. It didn't do anything for me. And clearly it didn't do anything for their box office because they didn't make enough money to the point where Saban had to sell Power Rangers again. But this time it's in Hasbro's hands, so still looking at you, Hasbro. Make me proud. But overall, guys, I am actually very interested in this concept. You know, again, it's not the one that I grew up with that they're adapting. It's not Mobile Suit Gundam Wing. It's the regular continuity from what I hear, which I don't know because I haven't watched anything aside, and I barely watched the entirety of Mobile Suit Gundam Wing. I'm only on the second collection disc, so I'm halfway through with the series, I think, and that's probably not the case. But the thing is, guys, you know, if they give you a Cliff Notes version which touches on some of the major important key points, if they can give you an awesome thing, because honestly, I mean, guys, what are we going to see this film for? Are we going to see some Shakespearean soap opera, which a lot of the Mobile Suit Gundam Wing episodes tend to be, and it's more filler than anything, with a lot of lengthy dialogue and a lot of complexities that really escape the modern moviegoer? Yeah, I find myself getting very bored sometimes. But overall, if they can give and deliver on what we really want as far as the action and you know, some of the major important concepts of the overall show and the franchise as a whole, then I think that they will have done their job. But you got to figure too, this is going to be an origin film, or the first in what hopefully will be a franchise. And you know what, I think that Legendary Pictures actually did a great job because they worked on other films involving kind of the same concepts of giant mechs and robots and monsters and kind of on that scale, so they know what they're doing somewhat. And with the little nuance and the fact that they're throwing the Gundam name and the Gundam spin on it, that can be a good thing and it could be a bad thing. But in the meantime, I am anticipating it. I want to see more. I want to see what they're doing with it. And overall, I'm not going to pass judgment on it until it sucks, or until I at least get that first teaser or that first trailer of the actual film itself. But overall, guys, how do you feel about the news that Gundam Wing, or Mobile Suit Gundam rather, is going to be adapted by Legendary Pictures? As of right now, they don't have any set dates or anything. It's just a kind of a thing that's been spread through the grapevine, and of course, comic book resources, as I had to stress again. But overall, I think personally that this news is pretty interesting, and I mean, hey, if they can pull it off, that would be one hell of a movie. And yeah, so tell me your thoughts down below. Like, comment, subscribe. And yeah, guys, just let me know what you think. And keep an eye out for my next video. Until next time, guys, I'm Jay. Bye.